Hi there, today we're going to be making this really fab floral crochet bookmark together. Stick around to see how. So to make this bookmark, all you're going to need is a couple of balls of wool. This is a great yarn stash buster. So if you've got all those scraps of wool lying around, this is a great way to use those up. Either some yarn snips or some embroidery scissors, a yarn needle to weave away your ends, and I'm using double knit wool, so I'm using a 3.5mm crochet hook. So the first thing we're going to do is crochet our flowers. So I have my 3.5mm hook and I'm going to take my pink wool. Now you can actually make your flowers multicolored. The flowers are made up of a chain round and then 2 stitch rounds. So you can actually change the color if you want to. I'm just using pink ones. So get yourself some yarn. I'm going to start with a slip stitch on our hook, like so. And we're just going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to go into the first chain and do a slip stitch. So what I've done is I've created a little loop. Okay, so then next we're going to chain 2, and this counts as our first half treble. And now we're going to do 14 half trebles. So I'll show you how to do a half treble. So we're going to go yarn over the hook once, go into the center of our loop, grab our wool, pull it up so we have 3 loops on the hook, yarn over the hook again, and we go through all 3 loops, and that's our half treble stitch. So I'm going to show you that again. Yarn over the hook, through our loop, pull the yarn through, we've got 3 loops, yarn over the hook again, and pull through all 3 loops. So that we now have 2, we've now done 2 of our half trebles. So we'll do 14 of those all together. Okay, and there's our 14. And now I'm just going to find the first chain I did. That counts as our first stitch. And I'm just going to go through the top chain, pull my yarn through and just do a slip stitch. I'm just going to give my yarn tail just a slight tug, just to close up the hole a little bit so it's a little bit neater. And that's our first row of our flower. Get myself some more yarn. So now we're going to do the petals. So if you wanted to change a colour, this is the time to do it. You'd fasten off and you'd start with a standing double crochet. But if you're continuing with the same colour, what we do is I'm going to chain 1, which is in effect our first double crochet. Now in this stitch here, I'm going to do 3 stitches. Okay, so this is our first stitch here. So I'm going to start with a half treble like we've just done. So that's 3 loops off at once. I'm going to do a treble, which is yarn on over the hook, through the same stitch, pull your yarn through. We've got 3 loops like we did with the half treble, but this time we're going to do 2 loops. We've got 2 left on our hook. I'm going to take the yarn over the hook and through the 2. So we've got a slightly taller stitch. And now I'm going to do a double treble. So this time I'm going to put the yarn over the hook twice. I'm going through the same stitch. So we've got the 3 stitches in the same place. And I'm going to take off 2 loops. I'm going to take off 2 loops, and I'm going to take off 2 loops, and that's a double treble. So it should have 3 stitches of varying heights there. Right, now we're going to move on to the next stitch, and we're going to do the same 3 stitches in reverse. So this time we're doing a double treble first, so yarn around the hook twice into the next stitch, pull your yarn through, and we're going to take off 2 loops, yarn over the hook and take off 2 loops, yarn over the hook and take off 2 loops. And now we're going to do our treble. So that's yarn on the hook once through the same stitch, yarn 2 off the hook, 2 loops off of the hook, 2 loops off of the hook, and then we're going to do a half treble, same stitch, all 3 loops off at once. There's our first petal. And then in the next stitch, we're going to just do a double crochet. And that's our first petal. You're going to repeat that 4 more times to make your 5-petaled flower. So we start it straight into the next stitch, we do a half treble, yarn over the hook once, 2 loops and 2 loops for your treble, and then your double treble is 2 loops around the hook, pull through, 2 loops, 2 loops, 2 loops, and then the same in reverse. So yarn on the hook twice into the next stitch, 2 loops, 2 loops and 2 loops. The treble, so once yarn over the hook, and then we do 2 loops off and 2 loops off, and then finishing with a half treble, hook through all 3, and then into the next stitch, do your double crochet. Now we've done 2, continue for 3 more. Okay, so I've just finished my 5th petal, and now I'm back to the chain 1 that we did right at the beginning. So this counts as our first double crochet. So I'm just going to pop my hook in there, finish with a slip stitch, my little snips, and fasten off. So you should have this sort of little 3D puffy little petal effect. Okay, so to finish off, what we have to do is get rid of our yarn tails. So get yourself a yarn needle and just weave away the ends. And there we go, it's our little flower. So what you want to do is make 4 of those in total. So there's your 4 little flowers, and the next thing to do is your stem and your leaves. So we're going to start the same with a slip stitch onto the hook, like so. And this time we're going to chain 75. There's our 75 chain. Right. So we're going to work down one side of the chain first. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back into the first stitch and do a double crochet. I'm going to do that 5 times. So into the next chain. So double crochets 1 on the hook. So no times yarn over. Through, pull it through, so you've only got 2 loops on your hook and you come off. So there's 3, 4 and 5. So now we're going to start attaching the flowers. So we're going to pick up our first flower, and what we're looking for is one of the double treble stitches. It doesn't really matter which one, just one of the 2 double treble stitches in the petal. So we're going to do a back post treble. So that means we're going around the back post of the stitch that we're attaching. So yarn over once because we're doing a treble, and we're going to go around the back post of the stitch. So I'll show you that again. Here is our double treble stitch. Here's the top of the stitch. So this is going through the top of the stitch. What we want to do is go around this post. This would be a front post because we're coming around it from the front. We're pulling it to the front. A back post comes from the back and pulls it backwards. And what that means is we're going to keep the lip of our flower nice and proud if we do it this way. So we're going to put our yarn over our hook once, and we're going to go back post, pull the yarn through. So we've got 3 loops on our hook, and we're going to take off 2 and then take off 2. So there's our treble, and that's attached our flower to our stem. So we're going to skip the next chain and go into the next chain, and now we're going to do double crochets in the next 7 chains. And now we're going to do the same thing again. We're going to do a back post treble into the next petal anti-clockwise round. So that's this one here. So we're going to go yarn over. You might find it easier actually coming from the back of it, but as long as it's a back post treble from the front, you're doing it right. Now we're going to attach a 3rd petal. So it's the next one round anti-clockwise again, exactly the same way. So now we're going to start constructing our leaf, our first leaf. So we're going to start by chaining 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So off of our main chain, we now have a chain of 10. We're going to come into the 3rd chain down and do a double crochet. And next we're going to do a half treble. So that's yarn over once, into the next chain, pull your yarn through, and then yarn over the hook through all 3 stitches. And now we're going to bring in a 2nd flower, and this time we're going to do a treble, a back post treble through the same, one of the double treble stitches here, exactly as we did before. So I'm going to go yarn over the hook, back post. So we're going to go yarn over and 2 loops off, yarn over and 2 loops off. So we've now attached our flower to the top of our leaf. Okay, so now we're going to do a regular treble. That's 2 loops off and then 2 loops off. And now we're going to do 2 double trebles in the next 2 stitches. So, sorry, 1 double treble in the next 2 stitches. So that's yarn over twice, into the next stitch, pull the yarn through, yarn over the hook and 2 loops off, yarn over and 2 loops, yarn over and 2 loops. We'll do another one in the next stitch. So yarn over twice, into your chain, pull the yarn through, yarn over and 2 loops off, yarn over, 2 loops off, yarn over, 2 loops off. Now we're going to do a treble. And a half treble. And that brings us back down to our chain. We're going to skip a chain, come into the next chain and do a double crochet. So if I lay this just out on the table so you can see what we've done. We've now got our stem curving around this way. There's the rest of our chain. We've created this leaf and we've fixed the leaf to our flower there. Continuing down our chain, we're now going to, we've just done 1 double crochet. We're going to do 6 more. So there's our first one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in total. And now we're going to bring in our leaf. It's really important to make sure that nothing's getting twisted. So it might be a case of laying it on the table and having a look. So we can see by laying it on the table that this is sitting flat, our stem is sitting flat, our flowers are sitting flat, everything's round the right way, and this is the next petal. So we have attached 2 flowers, we've got 2 leaves, and we've completed up, and now we're coming back down this edge to end down here. I'm going to attach our other 2 flowers. So we're going to start with 5 double crochets. So this time we're going in the opposite side loop of the chains that we created in the first step. So now we're going to attach our 3rd flower, and we're going to do it with a back post. And now we're going to attach our 4th and final flower. So we're going to do it exactly the same way. And we're finished. So just pull the loop, snip away and pull through to fasten off. And there is your floral crochet bookmark. The last thing we need to do is to stitch away your yarn ends with a yarn needle and then block your final crochet piece. So to do that, you can either wet it and then pin it out nice and flat and let it to dry, or you can pin it out and steam it. But either way, that will then make sure that your leaves stay nice and flat and everything sits flat to make a nice bookmark. Thank you so much for joining me today. I've had a lot of fun making this bookmark with you. Please don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel so that you can have access to lots more fun tutorial videos just like this one. And thank you very much. Bye-bye.